Hey everyone, Mr. Silbaugh here. This is my lesson on digital citizenship, day 5. So we're ending our unit talking about critically evaluating information found on the internet. This means that we're going to be looking at information that's found across the internet and evaluating it to see if it's a good, reliable resource or not. So, as we know, finding information on the internet can be a challenge anymore these days. It becomes a balance of finding what's actually true and what's fake. So, we need to come up with a process of evaluating, meaning looking at it, saying this is good, this is not good, and trying to find the best possible information for whatever our project or topic may be. And so it's very challenging anymore to find something that's good and reliable that you can use again and again to either support your argument or support facts. Um, so you have to be very, very careful in order to pick good resources. So these are some strategies. This is based upon the reading that you had for this lesson. How do you pick a good resource? And so one of the things that is recommended is you use the 5 W's of question evaluation, which is who, what, when, where, and why. So who? When we look at who, we're asking about the people involved with it. So this might be who wrote the article, the book, or the website page. Are they an expert in this material? Um, we want to check and make sure that the people who write the content in websites that we're evaluating are good and, they have a background in what they're talking about. You don't want some uh, random person off the street providing you information about a topic that they probably know nothing about. So whenever you evaluate a website, you want to make sure that you pick a good website that has a good author. Is there a list of resources? A good article or a good website will have where they got their information from. Especially if they're not necessarily an expert, they may be able to draw in resources from other people who are experts. So, do they have a list of resources where they got their information from? And then, can I go and find out more information about the author? Is the author of the website written more in the past? Or is this the first article they've ever written? So you want to make sure that you take a look at the author's background and see if they have any additional information about them. Next is what. So what deals with more of the content of the page. So what does the author say is the purpose of the site? So in a web page, does the author mention why is this, like, what is the purpose of this? Why is this being written? Um, what else may the author have in mind for this site? So does the author have his or her own personal ideas about the website? Is this just a blog to post their feelings, or is this an actual website to post information? Is the website easy to use? Can you get around it easily? And then last question on here, I'll talk more about that. So is the information in a nice, easy to find location? Is the information included and does it differ from other sites? So is the article actual or is the website actual good content or is it just fluff? When I say fluff, is it fake information or is it just like opinions, things of that nature? So when you critically evaluate the website, you want to make sure that you're looking at it in depth and looking at it very, very critically, meaning you're looking at it and evaluating it and taking your time to like evaluate it and critique it and make sure it's information you actually need and want. And lastly, I included this one. It's not on the list from your reading, but this is an important one to include. Are there a lot of ads? Ads create money for people who make websites. So if there's a lot of ads, they're more in it for the money than anything else. This is not always necessarily true because there could be some very good, reliable websites out there that have ads. But if there's a website that has ads on it, you might want to try and find something else because it may not be necessarily good for your information. When? This deals with the concept of time in our evaluation. One of the most important questions on here, and I personally think this is one of the most important questions, is when was it created and when was it last updated? Um, you don't want information that was written in the 1980s or even the 1990s if it's talking about something that's happening today. Like if you're doing if you're doing a project about the internet, you're not going to want information from the 1980s about the internet. You're going to want information more from today. If you were talking about the history of the internet, you'd want to go back a little bit. But if you're talking about information about the internet today, then you would need articles that are current. So keep that in mind whenever you are looking at websites across the internet. When was it created? When was it made? And when was it last updated? Now, not every website's going to have this, so you need to be very careful about this. Where? Where deals with the information, then where did it come from? So where does the information come from? Is it coming from an external source like someone else, or is it coming directly from the author who's writing it? Where can I look to find out more information about who manages or maintains the website? So you want to look and see who's updating the website, not just when it was updated, but who is updating the website. Is it a large company, like a large news organization? Or is it someone else? Maybe it might be the author himself or herself who's updating that information. So you want to be careful and make sure that you're looking at who's maintaining the information, and because they may have another purpose behind it. And then why? Why is this information useful? Is it any benefit to you? Why are you looking for this information? And then why should you use this information? Like, why did you pick this website? Saying that it was the first page in a Google search is not a good explanation for why you might use this information. And then lastly, why is this page better than another? Why is this page more beneficial than, say, another page that I found? Okay, you need to make sure you look at these questions before you pick that website and start collecting your information. So evaluating, when you're done, you're going to draw all that information that you looked at your website that you're evaluating and pull it all together in order to pull out the information you need. So after you've asked the questions on the previous slides, this will allow you to choose the best resource. You want the absolute best resource you can find because it could strengthen your argument, it can make your paper or your project that you're writing better. So you need to make sure that you look at a web page and not just pick whatever you find the first time around. You really need to sit and evaluate it and make sure it's the best information that you're getting. Because there can be consequences. You could not do so well on an assignment. You could get in trouble for using a poor resource. And if you do use a poor resource, people might think that you didn't take the time to actually research the topic. You just pulled whatever you thought was the best, and you just picked it out of the blue. So be careful about what you pick. All right, this is going to be it for this lesson.